Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Series Disney Plus Wave 2 Marvel's What If Doctor Strange Supreme. So this was the fourth episode. This is the What If Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands, or however they kind of worded it. This was my favorite episode. Really intense, really dark. Really enjoyed it. So before we get into the figure, I got my wave from toysnowman.com, link in the video description below for my referral link, which will give you 5% off coupon on your first order. So on like the reward section, you should find it there. But remember, this site, Toy Snowman, they are based in Canada, so it is Canadian dollar, so keep that in mind. But again, referral link in the video description below. Doctor Strange Supreme, pretty awesome. So we get What If Doctor Strange Supreme there. We get the Watcher logo up at the front on the top, and then you can see in the corner, build a figure, Marvel's The Watcher, side artwork of Doctor Strange Supreme, looking pretty awesome. It looks like it's pulled directly from the show, which I'm sure it was. Looking at the back of the package, we get that same image of Doctor Strange Supreme there with the little magic effect and everything for his hand. The bio reads, when an unforeseen event changes Stephen Strange's perspective on life, the path he chooses is one filled with even darker magic. So pretty crazy stuff. If you haven't seen that episode, I highly recommend it. It was very good, very dark. The show really went in directions that I wouldn't have thought that it would have. And then the ending really caught me off guard. Like, I didn't think, they would do that ending. It's just kind of crazy. So I won't get into spoilers of it. We're a week out from it. Chances are you've seen it. If you haven't, I do recommend it. So let's get Doctor Strange out of the box. Looking at this insert for Doctor Strange Supreme, I forget what this is called. I don't know if this was called the Library of Cagliostro or whatever it was. But there it is. You can see that tree there. Does look really cool. Similar to how the Zombie Hunter Spidey was packaged. You can see the Build-A-Figure leg up underneath. And the cloak that he wears is actually in a separate insert in there. But it makes it look like it's kind of packaged right behind him. Okay, and here is the Doctor Strange Supreme figure out of the package. There's a couple of good things, a couple of weird things, lots of reuse here, but still a pretty good looking figure. I got to look at kind of how accurate it was. I mean, watching the episode, kind of the darker colors, you can't really see his suit in the episode as clear as you could see like in action figure form, of course, because there was a lot of darker colors. Because again, a lot of darker imagery and themes going on in that particular episode, so it was kind of hard to see that. One thing that I think was in the episode that we don't have here is the Eye of Agamotto. It does not come with one, but I guess you could always just, take one from any of the previous Doctor Strange MCU figures, assuming you have one, of course. You could always just, add one in, and there you go. He's got the Eye of Agamotto there. So you could do something like that. So let's get in for a closer look at the Doctor Strange figure. First we'll start off. He comes with the left leg, the left Build-A-Figure piece for Uatu the Watcher. So we'll stick that off to the side with the other Build-A-Figure pieces. The other accessories that he comes with is the effect piece of the Time Stone, as you can see, as part of the hand. This is the same exact piece that came in the Infinity War 3-pack with Iron Man and Thanos. You can see just different shades of green being used, but the accessory itself is the exact same. Now, one thing that I have to note, because the paint looks like absolute shit, because it's a translucent green plastic throughout the whole thing, and they did the skin tone paint over it to make it look like the flesh of the hand. That's how they were able to pull this off, with it being one single piece. But if you're using this properly, you're not really going to see the hand anyway, so it's not something that's really going to be shown or visible, but I did think that, I should note that for you guys on how that looks. But now let's take a closer look at Doctor Strange. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the Doctor Strange figure, and from an animated series perspective, the head sculpt looks very good, but again, it's not, live action, so that's kind of what throws it off from a typical MCU figure. So it doesn't look like Benedict Cumberbatch in a way, kind of, but not really, and it really shouldn't, because it wasn't an exact based on the animation style, not everyone looked the exact. You can see the resemblance, but it's not perfect or anything. But I think this looks good. What I really like is the dark the dark shading underneath his eyes and everything, because this is kind of a worn out Doctor Strange. You know, he's been through a lot over a very long time period, and he's done a lot of things. He's seen a lot of things. So he kind of looks like crap a little bit, right? I mean, that's kind of how it looks, and I'm all for it. We get a little bit of the grayish color, as you can see on these bottom portions, like the sideburns, and then kind of on the back of his head. Now, in the animated show, the gray was a little bit more visible, but that's okay. At least we actually got it. For a second there, I was worried that they didn't even include it at all. Facial shape looks pretty good. You got the goatee there. Again, all looks really good. This is, for the most part, how he looked in the animated show. I do really like it. Again, we don't have the Eye of Agamotto, but if you wanted to include one that came with the previous Doctor Strange MCU figure, you could do that if you wanted to. Looking at the rest of the figure, we get this purple color there in the design of his tunic. I don't know what you would call that. I guess maybe the neck was a little off center. It seems kind of weird. Let me see. We get this separate neck piece, kind of like G.I. Joe figure, so I wanted to straighten that out. We get these gold gauntlet pieces with a little bit of red on the sides. We get this blue color for his outfit, pants, and then black boots. These are the same exact legs as the previous Doctor Strange movie figure, so same legs as here, as well as this skirt piece. You can see it is the same piece, but we get different colors. We get this bright orange color that's painted over kind of the darkish maroon burgundy color of what he's wearing, the robes, I guess you would call it. The orange just kind of looks a little sloppy over the red, over the burgundy, because you see some of it bleed through, which is unfortunate. That ring that holds those straps is not even painted on this one. As you can see, it's just all done with the same molded rubber plastic color. We at least got some paint differences there on the movie Doctor Strange figure. But again, lower body is all the same. The hands are reuse, and again, the accessory piece is something that we've already gotten before. But the arms, I don't want to say for sure if they haven't been used. They might be new. There's no pins, so we get pinless elbows, but we have pins on the knees. Yeah, and that's it. Looking at his cloak, I don't even know what to call it. It's not really the Cloak of Levitation, because he stole this from a bug. Maybe it's an alternate universe version of it. But we get some nice sculpted detail on the back of the cloak, as you can see there. No paint really on the back. We get the gold trim, of course, throughout. But the inside, holy moly, check that out. That's insane. I love the detail. I love the sculpted detail around these seams and everything. This just really stands out and looks really cool. But I hate the way it rests on the figure. So we got the peg there on the back, so you can work it around. It's very soft and pliable. It ports in on the back, and it sits on him like so. I hate that the shoulders go crazy out, because I think it looks weird. However, it allows for some awesome functionality of it. So you can get his arms to go out, and the cloak is not really going to get in the way. So that's the benefit. But when his arms are down, I think it looks funny. But, you know, give and take, I guess I would rather have this so you can get some function out of those arms than really not. But speaking of function, let's move on to his articulation. Okay, so Doctor Strange's articulation. So he can look down somewhat. He can look up a fair, decent amount, not the greatest. The head is on a dumbbell joint, as you can see. So you have a separate piece for that neck, so you actually can get some swivel going on with that neck. And then we'll pop his head back on there, so full rotation, of course, and all kinds of pivot going on. The shoulders, you can get them to go up this high. The upper torso piece kind of extends out past the shoulder. Otherwise, you could probably get that up a little bit higher. You have a full rotation there, upper bicep swivel. We get a double jointed elbow, which gives you a crazy amount of bend there, which is awesome. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. There is no ab crunch, but we get a waist ball joint, so you can pivot to his left a little bit, you can pivot to his right a little bit. He can pivot back a little bit. He can come forward a little bit, not a whole lot, but you do get a swivel going on there. Now legs go out only that far apart, because that skirt piece is really going to get in the way and hinder all kinds of motion. So he can only kick his leg out that far. His right leg you can kick out about the same amount, actually. You have an upper thigh cut in there. It's a little bit stiff, but it's in there. You get a double jointed knee. That gives you about that much bend there. You have a boot swivel. Foot hinges down that much. up a little bit, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. And again, the whole entire lower body is the exact same as the MCU Doctor Strange figures, just repainted. So decent articulation, but not a whole lot. Not that Doctor Strange moved around crazy anyway, but that's what he could do. People are gonna ask for all these head swaps that I don't enjoy doing, so pop that head off. See if we can pop the Benedict Cumberbatch head sculpt on there. And you can, and you know what, that looks pretty good. This head, I thought, while it was an improvement over the first version that Hasbro did, I always felt this head sculpt kind of had a little goofiness to it. This could actually work really well for an animated version, if you ask me. The skin tones don't exactly match. As you can see, it's a little bit darker on the live action Doctor Strange version, but the head does pop on there and fit. And then for shits and giggles, let's see if the animated head sculpt fits on the movie version. And it does, and you know what? That looks pretty damn good as well. Skin tones don't match, as you can see, darker skin tone on the neck versus the face, but it works if that's what you wanted to do. But be careful when you head swap, because you do things like this. It's not broken or anything, but you can see how that neck ball actually fit on the figure. Now I gotta separate these and get this back on there, and this is why I don't like doing head swaps, folks. I'm sure somebody would have asked to switch out the cloaks. And they do sit on each other a little bit funky, but the peg that's actually in the cloak does work out both. Okay, and while we're at it, the two Doctor Strange side by side, I popped the magic time stone effect on this one. I think it's odd because by this time, the way Doctor Strange Supreme is, you know, in his supreme state or supreme form or whatever, he wasn't using the time stone for anything. I don't really remember. Well, I guess he would have towards the end of the episode, right? But I still think it's on the wrong hand from the movie. I'd have to watch the episode to see if he uses his left hand or his right hand. So it's just kind of there. You know, other magic effects I think would have been really cool, but I get that, you know, Hasbro would just like, well, we made that. We don't want to just be a one and done. Let's just repackage it and do that. It makes it easy. So here we have it. Okay, so a couple of New Yorkers with some cloaks on there, really taking up the space to be able to fit T'Challa in there. But here are all the what-if figures that we have so far. Zombie Captain America, Captain Carter, Doctor Strange Supreme, Zombie Hunter Spider, Spider-Man Spidey, and then T'Challa Star-Lord there in the back. This Doctor Strange figure is pretty good. It is not my favorite out of the bunch. Still Zombie Cap, then Captain Carter, then I would say Zombie Hunter Spider-Man, because I'm completely biased when it comes to Spider-Man, then Doctor Strange, and then T'Challa Star-Lord, if I were to keep the ranking going from here on. But all our what-if figures so far. Okay, and there's my review. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you think of this Doctor Strange Supreme figure? What did you think of that episode? For me, it was my favorite because again, it was very dark, very different, very emotional even, and I just didn't see that ending coming. So I really, really enjoyed that episode. It's going to be hard to beat that one. Marvel Zombies is next. We'll see how that one stacks up compared to this one. But it's going to be a tough one to beat for sure. But if you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Before we end, a quick reminder, I did get my wave from toysnowman.com, referral link in the video description below. If you use that link, sign up for the rewards, you get a 5% coupon to use on your first order. toysnowman.com, referral link down in the video description box below. So again, thank you guys for watching.